Yeah, let's see. G2 with the Vamos Penta. Of course, G2, but we'll explain this just once and never again. For people that don't remember this, haven't really been keeping up with esports in Rainbow Six for a long time. The old Penta lineup with Pengu, Fabian, blah, 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 etc. have all moved to G2 as of literally 3 days before the Paris Major.
Yeah.
And now Penta has picked up the old Market roster with Panics and the squad. There's been a couple changes on it. Sir Boss and Hungary being the two new additions, but they have been very important on the squad. So Penta has kind of improved after the Paris Major. But we'll see here, Glaz and Lion will be banned. Of course, G2 banning the Lion. I think they showed quite a bit last week when playing Market by not having it banned.
It was an interesting match when he was still in play, and there was actually on Twitter before this match even started, Panics and Pengu were having a conversation. It's like, so you gonna ban Lion or should we ban Lion? who's gonna take him out of play? And obviously G2 is known to be the team that typically will really want Lion not in play. So almost all teams will just be like, yeah, G2, you can ban him or we'll use him.
Yeah, we'll see Echo being banned at the end. Penta still has a bit of a slower execution on the site. Not as slow as Vitality, for example, to really name an outlier on the outside of the spectrum. But Echo has had a bit of a huge slowdown on the team at times. So removing it makes a lot of sense. We talked about a potential Valkyrie ban in the previous match because we also had Consulate. So there you go. Now we see it in effect. So you won't really be seeing too much of IQ. She still has her utility, but the main thing is, as you mentioned, if both operators are available, you're going to see them both being run almost at the same time always.
Yeah, I mean, don't ignore an advantage that you can just take. There's no reason to. So here we go. In the last match that we saw, it was Consulate as well. Top floor was played a total of 2 times, and it was the final 2 rounds. Here, it will be the first defense for Penta.
Yeah, so we'll get to see how they play this one out, as it's a fairly standard site. There's a few things that used to see change. There was a certain point in time where bathroom was a big part of the hold, where you would see mirror windows being played in there, ACOG still to hold it.
You know, it still is, but it's not as much.
Yeah, it's not as much. There was a time where you really saw it like every single time. But things change. Obviously, we've seen a huge rise of Maestro. His addition, of course, to the game made things very, very different. There's quite a few spots to set up Evil Eyes on this map as well in a way that it's fairly complicated for the attackers to deal with them. So, yeah, but it always turns into more like a standard, oh, we have the Habana to deal with that. However, G2 were not expecting this and do not have the Habana. Well, actually, no, there you go. What am I talking about? I'm actually blind. How am I an optometrist?
I was about to say exactly that.
Yeah, they're like, still, the Habana is here, so they can use her to open up the wall from the top floor, from the cafeteria room, and just able to push the smoke out of position. Very standard, you always see it, and it works. So well tried and proven strategy.
Yeah, so we're going to see instead, for some reason, Pengu trying to open up the wall towards yellow stairs. Looks like he's attempting to deny that position to his opponents so that they could later push yellow stairs. He used 2 Excaros to get that done, though, so that's quite a lot of utility for just one wall to be opened up. Now G2 is aware that there cannot be a defender in one specific part of yellow stairs. That is a huge mistake from Jonas, one you don't often see him make, and the single flashbang won't go up into yellow stairs. I think the other 2 landed where they were supposed to, attempting to clear out those ADSs. But you see Yellow Stairs players still alive and kicking, waiting to delay this push. Goga's going to get the first kill, though, on to Serbas. So some damage done for G2.
Yeah, it's very odd to see that Goga, in the recent times, has been the top fragger on the squad. Oh, the trade here, Kanto Raketti able to take down Panics. But Goga has been the top planter, so the best Goga in EU, I guess. Very well known for that.
Yep.
And number 2, a top fragger on the squad, which is unheard of, being able to do both of these jobs so well. A lot of people thinking of him as one of the best players in the region, and I think they are fairly right in that assumption.
Yeah, here comes the smoke and the gas canisters in response. Because of that, Jonas is going to plant closer to the hallway door and to avoid those gas canisters, and he will be successful. Fuser going down, and it will successfully, as a slew of kills come out from both teams. G2 comes out on top, and they will take the round. Excellent hold in the post-plant and during the plant transition.
The big part of this is the fact that Pengu played the Habana on that window almost exclusively on CEO. Always pretty much stayed there. They didn't have to push from the opposite end. They figured out that, you know what, if they reinforce one half of the wall in the cubby, in the closet, then we can open it up to allow our push up the yellow stairs to be much easier. There was a lesion on Penta's side, which usually means you probably shouldn't be pushing up those yellow stairs. Unfortunately, there wasn't really anything to help the Jaeger that was playing up there in goo mines or huge setups on it. So you can't push up because the wall is already open. You can get shot from the window. You also, at the same time, can get shot from the skylight where you already see your opponents at the top. You already have the Capitao as well that has his crossbow bolts to push you away, and he's going to keep 2 of them at the end for the final push in for the plant. Even with the missed flashbang from Jonas, everything worked in tandem so well that Penta were not able to play against it, and G2, the instant that they see anything that they could exploit, they'd go for it.
Yeah, I really appreciate the surgical focus of G2 as well. That was a very intricate attack strategy in a basic sense where they were pushing towards yellow stairs, which is typically considered one of the more simple-minded strats. You know, it's not very complicated. It just involves a lot of close-quarter combat. And G2 kind of negated that somewhat and, you know, thrashed the expectations of Penta by playing longer angles in odder ways than what you're used to seeing. Like, for example, Pengu repelling on that window, using his Excaros to open up that angle into the top of yellow. That denied the rotation for the player on yellow stairs himself. And after that rotation was denied, a complete collapse between Kanto Kenny and Jonas to take care of the Jaeger. Kanto did get down, but, I mean, that is not a tall, you know, it's expense. That is pretty, you know, it's negatable. Doesn't matter. And after yellow stairs was in G2's favor, the push onto the top floor combined with the B window and the smokes was, it's easy.
Yeah, obviously they still have the smokes with Jackal, and because the wall is open on the side and it already had the buck in there, that had opened up the wall, they can chuck in equipment very easily.
There is no defense in the garage right now except for the C4 from Sir Boss. Excellent placement for the mute, and he's going to get a third onto Kanto Raketti, pushing down the yellow stairs. Excellent positioning for that player. Well done to Sir Boss, salvaging that round single-handedly. It looked as though G2 was going to simply plant the diffuser and walk away, but not so, says the one man, the mute.
The boss himself. Pengu right now trying to get the pick off him and actually take him out of his misery, but it's enemy that's ready for him as well. The cross angle, even the potential bait here by Penta, set up perfectly. Of course, the castle had brought a bulletproof camera that is used to bring them information. As we mentioned, the interchangeability between Mira and that camera, if need be, depending on the positions where you're going to try to play the camera, and just enemy falling back. They know they have the advantage. 4v2, and Panic's even setting up from above, but Pengu threads the needle, and enemy will go down. Fabian trying to set up the grenade to pull one in the back, and perfectly timed out of Panic's, yet somehow it turns into a 2v2. G2 might actually bring this one back here as Fabian opening the top floor. Try to find the angle on the smoke of Hungry. If he is shot down, this might spell disaster for Penta, even with the early entry that they had. Smoke's in the back, as right now, the Habana of Pengu is just waiting around for him to make the mistake, as yellow stairs will be the position that Sir Boss will try to watch. And still, Fabian taking time. He's got almost a minute on the clock. You can use that to his advantage, but no. Sir Boss with one more. That's 4 for him. He'll get down, and Pengu will try to save it. P229 in hand, a 1v1 against the smoke. Pengu will clutch it! The 2K at the end! Sir Boss will get shut down, and Hungry is down for play. Pengu, the beautiful play. We were talking about this today. Why run the Bearing 9 when you can have the P229 nowadays? And wow, beautiful bit of play.
Well, Pengu certainly proving merit to that argument, and I'm sure there's plenty of newts in the chat right now, and he certainly deserves it. That was an excellent clutch. Also, nice nade from Fabian upstairs in piano. The duo that managed to make it work. We have seen a couple of these before so far today already, only 2 matches in, the 2 versus X clutches, and that's just another one to add to. So it's been a great game of match, or a great day of matches so far, only 2 in, like I said, and it's looking like it's going to get better and better. Now, what that round tells me is that Penta are going to be able to fight back, but it also tells me is I don't think that they've got it. If Sir Boss is able to get a 3K in the
4 actually.
Well, 4K, yeah.
That's the scariest.
Yeah, he got a 4K if you count Fabian. So yeah, but it's a triple kill in the the beginning of that round, and still your team is not able to lock it out. I don't know what I can say in your defense.
Zoinks.
Zoinks, what?
Zoinks, Scoop. It's like, I don't want to say yikes, because that's a taboo word at this point.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like, yikes, come on, man.
All right, well, whatever the case, yeah, an indefensible loss of that defense there, or indefendable, undefendable, whatever. They should have won that round. Penta were in a perfect position, all thanks to Serbas, and they let it slip away. They're going to go to basement once more. It's sensible to go back here considering how close they were to victory and the fact that they let it slip away in the dying seconds of that last round.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this one goes the way of our previous one. As G2 still going strong with a double hard breacher setup. With Penta Sports, of course, bringing the same operators as before. We already know how strong Mute is on a Garage defense and the amount of damage and information denial that he can do. So it is definitely an advantage you'd like to have in your squad.
So G2 very efficient here. They're just taking control of top floor. They know they have it. They're likely to isolate the rotations back up to the top floor and simply start their push down. That makes sense. This is a very standard fare here for the attack so far. Panic's playing on yellow stairs is the one in the most pressure right now for the defense, and he's going to have to choose between falling back to the site or choose to confront his opponents when they eventually find him. Looks like it's going to be the latter as he attempts to peek onto Jonas. Ooh, this could be really bad timing for the Capital, but not so as he comes off of his drone at just the right moment. Panic's being patient. He knows he's on defense. He knows he only needs to delay this. And Jonas is going to have to be the one to push. As he comes closer to the yellow stairs door, he uses a flashbang to try and disorient the Jaeger, but just actually does a bit of a ring around the rosy and comes all the way down yellow stairs, eating a lesion trap and a bullet from the Jaeger, now on low HP, and neither player has really been able to confront each other directly. This is a very confusing engagement for Panics right now, but he's managed to work his way into the top floor despite how much cover G2 is applying to his position. Kantaraketi rarely, but does sometimes miss shots, and that's a good example of one of those times. You can see the rotation being prepped by Panics. He's doing a spectacular job of delaying the push from G2 right now. They really need to clamp down on this. Now, all the while, the push is still going successful over by the main garage. Fabian's going to get an SMG-11 kill onto enemy, so we've got garage control and server control right now in favor of G2. But still, a roamer in play. That's the Panics. Pengu getting an easy kill onto Serbas. Questionable positioning there for the Mute.
Yeah, the ADS will just burn in the stun grenade as Revon will get one on Fabian. Panics still alive, will win the duel against Kantaraketi, but Jonas will refrag, taking down Panics as he was still holding the yellow stairs. 2v2 now as Revon will get one more onto Jonas. Pengu inching his way in as they know the position of the Smoke of Hungary inside, and they'll opt to fight at range. Very smart against the 870 here. As Revon trying to fight in that 2v1. He will drop Goga. We'll get rest unless Revon can go for it. No, it doesn't hit, so now Goga is finally downed. We'll go for the 1v1. Hebana trying to save the day, but Revon will clutch it, and Penta will put the round on the board. My God, that was a bit too close for comfort, but Revon, perfect timing there on the Legion. He nabs the 3K and wins the round for Penta.
What a clutch for Revon, playing that Legion to perfection. Could have been a little bit better with the impact, missed, of course, but still, he managed to win it, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, and here, we'll get to see how things change. As, of course, 2 rounds in a row, we get 2 gut-wrenching clutches. I guess 1 in a row so far. This playday is shaping up to be a hell of a ride. And we'll see how things change. As this time, it'll be console office and meeting room to go again, as we saw Penta playing it in the very first round. Was not successful at all against G2's well-organized push. We'll see if G2 change anything with this attack, or will they go for the similar attack through window and yellow stairs up into the CEO chamber. So
this happens very rarely. G2 let slip a player to the top floor. That was Panics, of course. Because Panics was allowed to be allowed to push upstairs, so much time was wasted by the defense. And you got to say, it comes a little bit down to Jonas. He just skipped a step in clearing yellow stairs. He did not take the entirety of that staircase. He vaulted the railing instead. So definitely a mistake made by G2, and it cost them in that round, but something they can recover from, I'm sure. They're going to go back to, or well, Penta is going to go back to the top floor. This will be their second attempt. They were unsuccessful the first time around, thanks to a well-conducted attack strategy on the yellow stairs from G2. We'll see what they're going to show us this time, though. G2, one of those teams that just doesn't repeat strategies very often.
Yeah, and you know, looking at things that how Penta was playing during the Euro Cup that we had a couple of weeks ago in Milan, I had a bit of a conversation with them when things were done, as they weren't able to even make it to the grand final, which is something that a lot of teams and a lot of players were expecting them to do at least. They were very annoyed, to say the least, with that fact, and annoyed at themselves that they had lost rounds that they should have taken. And here they're trying to correct things as best as possible, and doing these sorts of plays against a team like G2 is definitely no easy feat, as many teams have proven in the past.
Yeah.
So you have to change this time around. The Jaeger moving in, but there's still Jonas on his own.
Jonas is being very aggressive so far this match. Just as an individual play, he is not taking no for an answer. He's just pushing into these holds, which normally should be easily denied. But he's managed to pin 2 players in admin office, whether he knows it or not. The way he's playing, though, it seems like he doesn't. He will catch wind of Serbas after he takes out Goga. The refrag is there, and Pengu shuts down Hungary. So ultimately, admin office in control of G2 right now, and another for Cantor-Ketty, but Ravon able to refrag onto Fabian. What an angle to land a shot onto that printer window. It's a difficult one. Ravon did take a lot of damage for it, but still, damage done to his opponent is greater, and that's the important thing.
And here, enemy trying to rotate back onto the site, as they'll have to deal with 3 players still in for G2 with a decent chunk of utility. Jonas has not used a single one of his tack crossbows, and we've seen how difficult it is to deal with those. So if G2 are able to execute on the site in time, then enemy will kind of be negated. Gumine they'll put in, but enemy's coming in from behind. He sprays and he takes him down, but he spots the second, and only Kanto down. Still trying to play it as Pengu will get one more that's driven out of play, and somehow turns into a 2v1. Enemy coming in from the back, he'll drop on the diffuser! An enemy will get the shot on Pengu to take him out! Enemy with the flank! Perfect play from him, and information relayed in as Penta will tie it up 2-2.
Okay, series of mistakes there for G2. First of all, they weren't holding the bottom of Visa's stairs. And I understand when there's only 2 defenders left, you don't anticipate anyone coming from behind in that scenario. But, well, in this case, they certainly did. Now, enemy didn't use the flank as well as I think he could have, but he ultimately got the win in the end, regardless. A big reason, though, comes back to that lineup. The lineup we've seen before, what we saw in the previous match earlier today, a clutch from Chaos because 2 Millennium players were right next to each other. That miscommunication, that misunderstanding, that lineup is the only reason that Penta was able to take that round. And when it all boils down to one thing, it was that. And there were other mistakes, sure, but these are the types of things you do not anticipate happening at this level of play, especially not from teams like G2. A little taken aback by that, in fact.
We'll see how the adaptation will be for this one here, as Penta has foregone the Maestro, and they'll be bringing enemy. It's always interesting to see how teams set up the Doc or sometimes the Rook. We've seen Maestro being such a huge operator to be picked on pretty much every single lineup with the amount of information that he brings, but this time Penta will forego that strategy. I wonder how they play this one here with Panics, as Castle has quite a few spots as well to set up his Panics.
Looks like they're just trying to delay and deny as much of a push towards Z as possible. So he's got that one Castle barricade down in Z, facing towards the windows in the hallway, which is a good position to have. We see often Habana, who will try to open up into the bathroom to apply pressure to the rotation between sites, making a push onto site a lot easier. The aggression for Giannis finally working against him as Serbas is ready to play the angle and get the kill. A slew of kills from both teams, mostly G2 though, as Kanto gets 2, Fabian gets another. Enemy will fight back though with 2 of his own, running out wild outside of the front door. Fabian is down, and the round is won for Penta. What did we just witness? Oh my gosh, an incredible retake for Penta. Great positioning for Enemy. That's his second clutch in a row. And 3-2, Penta's favor in the first half.
Can I get like an exact time on how long that round was? Because that kind of just turned into, oh hey, they're reinforcing, and oh crap, they're planting, retake, instant retake, the instant that that diffuser is set, and then an instant retake after that. Beautiful play from Penta, just diving out. And you mentioned Enemy, my god, was that a great play. Even detected outside, is able to do so much damage and bring it back. 3-2 right now, advantage for Penta as we switch sides and see what G2 can do against that.
Oh, crazy round there for Penta. And Enemy really standing out from the crowd right now on that lineup. Archives Tellers, the first defense for G2. We've seen them favor this site before. Not terribly surprised that they're going to bring us here once again. It is a little bit of a different site, something we don't often see, but like I said, G2 is one of this site's advocates. So, how will Penta address it is the question.
Yeah, we'll see how this style of defense compares to what we saw from both Millennium and Chaos in our previous matchup. As of course, having a new site means that you get to explore things every single time you get to play it, and maybe there's things that we still have not seen. For example, the Mira being played. And I suspect that Pengu will be using that on the top floor, where we see a lot of teams, even when Mira is available, when they play in CEO, we'll see them using her, for example, in the copy room, you know, in the little cubby to hold against any pushes from admin. It's a definite possibility here where you can play with that on the top floor. In this case, I don't think that that will be it. Maybe it's going to be a late rotation. And
oh!
I love the band waves!
Oh!
All the cheaters, get the hell out of my game!
Woo! That
beautiful.
Well, in this case, some cheaters, mostly boosted accounts, it seems. Thank you, Ubisoft. That was very satisfying. I appreciate that.
Oh, man, I need to change the pants to the other one.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
That was beautiful.
All right. Calm down now.
Okay, so there you go.
Oh, it's still happening.
Yes. So Pengu putting it in the exact position that we were just talking about.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Already a down G2 player. That's Fabian. He's going to drop even further down by descending into Archives. Good position to be picked up, if possible, and it is very likely possible. It looks like Penta just ran up to the Visa door, sprayed through it, and downed Fabian. I'm sure he's a little tilted by that. Random sprays can be annoying. At 50 HP now as he's picked back up, and the round actually finally starts.
Enemy now starting off with the attack on the top floor, moving in from the console chamber is similar to what we saw Millennium doing on their attack. Go in, clear the top, then hold at the bottom at the same time for against rotations. But Jonas, be him to get the first one onto Panics, eliminating the sledge. So that's part of your attacking roster eliminated, but also 2 grenades off the board.
Uh-oh, could be a kill through a wall if Jonas plays this right, but no, he's going to call the push up to yellow stairs. Good information for his team to have. Enemy and Ravan already have control of this corner, but not the rest of this top floor. I'm going to start trying to take the rest of it, though. Pengu will be there to meet Enemy and win his fight in Connector. Excellent job to the Mira.
Yeah, that's a great play off of your standard position, I guess. Even you're always expecting the Mira to stay behind her window. Here, not required at all. As there you go, Ravan will come in from the back. He'll take down one. It will be Goga to refrag the SMG-11. He falls back down, though. Now still advantage 4v2 for G2, but we've seen how these sorts of situations can spiral out of control for really any team. So, Sir Boss and Hengry scouting out, making sure they have taps.
So, information gathered for Penta. They've got good bearing here, but they're going to have to fight against 4 opponents, and doesn't look like they're aware of the player on top of Visa Stairs. The spray will give him away, though, and that's going to allow Sir Boss to assess his angles more adeptly. Pengu will come from behind, though. An excellent flank. Hungary letting that slip by is going to force him now into a 1 versus 4 because of that. C4s will miss, and Pengu will get the final kill. What a flick onto Hungary. Penta starting to feel the pain. G2 bring it back 3-3. And they look a lot more formidable on defense.
It's a great play there with a Vector, and interestingly enough, at least right now on the test server, the Vector is a bit easier to control. I don't think that control the Vector was ever a real problem.
I mean, they did nerf the recoil when they fixed the sight misalignment, but I don't know if it was a huge issue.
No, I didn't really notice much, but now it's still a bit easier to try to control on test server. So I still recommend everybody to go in and try it out before it goes live, or even if it goes live. Because remember, a lot of the changes there might be just temporary, just to test things out.
Well, basement defense next for G2. Now, I want to touch on something I just said about their defense there on archives. G2 looked a lot better on defense than they were looking on attack. A lot of the rounds that G2 lost on attack were due to simple mistakes, oversights that Penta leaned into heavily. Most notably, Enemy with his 2 clutches as an individual, almost single-handedly getting 2 rounds. So, while they came close to winning a lot of rounds, G2 ultimately did lose the first half. Though going into this second one, they look to start to bring it back in their favor.
Oh, we haven't seen this in a while.
I think we saw it 2-3 days. I want to say I saw it last week or yesterday. Let me check. No, it must have been last week. But I do remember seeing it last week.
It does not happen that often.
No, certainly.
I think this is like the second or third time throughout this entire season that we got to see a mirror window on Garage.
I want to say it was 1 versus FaZe where I remember that happening.
Yeah, it's probably that one game and then this time. I don't know if I saw it in the first half, but yeah, the summation is this is extremely rare to see.
Yeah.
There was a point where you would see it a bit more often, but crouch level mirror window gives you a lot of information on if you're trying to deal against your opponent, especially in the metagame that does not involve Twitch that often. Or at all, really, for a lot of regions, not Latin America.
Yeah, because the thing is, 1 C4, you deny a thermite charge, you deny an X-Gyros, whatever you're denying, and you're not risking anything, really. It's an expense of a mirror window and a C4, and that's a lot, sure, but you don't need to play anywhere near the mirror window. You're not really in a position where you can be killed that easily. Overall, it's a risk-free denial of that garage being opened up, and that's what that mirror is very good at doing.
Indeed, indeed. And here, Pengu will be playing inside of the bathroom. Of course, this compounds the fact that the Vector has such a high rate of fire and damage output that he can just sit in and fire to anybody that dares to get close to him, and that'll be Hungry here. He Candelas along the outside, but pushes in, unfortunately, right into Pengu. Gets the shot and then pulls back immediately on the Mira. Lands an important kill here on the Ying. As there we go, Panics will be the second one to get taken down by Cantor Ricchetti. In the meantime, the Thermite finally getting on board his play by the garage door, but it's a trade. Pengu for Revan here, eliminating Kanto and Enemy.
So it's all up to Sirboss and Ravon now, and it seems the garage might have been opened up despite that mirror window placement, although we haven't actually seen it just yet. Sirboss aware that there might be somebody above him, and he is right. In fact, there are 2 players currently on the top floor, and Jonas is going to be calling out the last 2 attackers just below him. Now, all of G2 will likely converge to try and make this push so much more difficult for Penta. As you can see, they're both playing the same position, not really looking to spread their wings too far, as they can easily be clipped if they do. And there you go, the clipping will start. Ravon is taken down by Fabian, and it's all up to Sirboss now. And he's got plenty of time to make this work, but plenty of utility as well. Still 2 firebolts, still 2 smokes, still 3 stun grenades, if that matters in this situation. But ultimately, you're up against some guns like Fabian's, who will get the final kill. G2 takes it. They get their lead back 4-3 now.
Yep, pretty good there at the end to connect with the Maestro. It's always interesting to see plays where the Pulse and the Maestro are roaming on the top floor on a garage defense. That's out of the box. Plus a mirror window on the garage, which is not something that usually happens. The entirety of the round was definitely thinking out of the box, and harks back to the very first round in G2's attack, where they're able to, open up a style of attack that is rarely, if ever, really seen with the way that they have set things up. It's their ability to, flex and bend against their opponents and just find a new way to take things back. Really starts to shine with every single match that they play. But in this case, Penta definitely giving them a hard time, and with it only being a 4-3, and the way that Penta have been able to take their 3 rounds, it's definitely not over yet. And there you go. Twitch will get played, and we'll get to see how our French operator is going to fare in this setup, as very smartly from Penta, they realize, you know what, if they're going to bring Mira, let's bring one of the easiest counters to her. We'll see how the shock drone works. And historically speaking, Enemy has had a ton of success with that shock drone.
I mean, honestly, I'm thinking to myself right now, I'm watching this match, I'm saying, give Enemy a good gun, he's going to frag out. He's been doing really well so far, and, you know, even aside from the counter utility, opening up those mirror windows, I think that this is a good choice for Penta. Though it is, of course, even better because you can open up the mirror windows, and how powerful some of these mirror window positions can be. You know, we always like to say, you know, Consulate's not the mirror map. You don't need her here, but she certainly helps.
Oh yeah, she helps pretty much no matter the position that you're in. Of course, the way that you gather the utility or the information is very important indeed. But you know, here we see a few different ways of doing them. We'll see how things will shape up on this attack here into the console chamber, as Sir Boss and the Capitao will hold up the top. It's the Ash of Panic, so make sure nobody dives in a bit or dives out a bit too early.
Lots of information here for Penta as they start to drone their way into the A-bomb site, pardon me, the B-bomb site. And they're aware now that there's nobody playing in the site. There's mirror windows in connector. You got a half and half, it looks like, on that connector wall. And large emphasis placed on the yellow stairs. Thanks to the open closet wall, they're aware of that. Goga is a big part of this hold. If he goes down, the crossfire is denied, and B is going to be so much more difficult to hold for G2.
Yeah, and you mentioned the half and half that Pengu is standing behind. It will get popped. There you go. The Twitch drone will work out perfectly. And the half and half basically means half the mirror window is on the reinforced wall, the other half is on the soft wall. There's a certain angle that you can do it at a certain level. It takes a bit of time, but with a bit of experience, you can certainly get it done. It's a very powerful position to play as well. Though the one in the bathroom won't be doing too much here, as there's a player watching along the outside for Penta as well. So, Penta are primed and ready for this attack as they send in their second shock drone to gather information and see maybe something else has been set up. A bit of damage done to Sir Boss. C4 will not connect. Leave from below. That's Yunas. There we go. He'll rotate back, and Revan will be able to take him out. And there you go. The knife will finish things up. Advantage here for Penta for potential push, but it's Pengu still behind, and the utility has been used, but to no effect just yet. Hungry trying to find somebody on the cross. But can't get Pengu. Pengu just runs in through the smoke, but it'll go down to Enemy. Hispanics will get one more. Fabian and move in from the connectors. Kanto Raketti cannot find the angle on the planter here. Enemy will still be alive as the Legion of Kanto will peek. We'll find one, take him out. Still 4 more to go through. I'll have to ace the round. We've seen him do quite a bit of that in the past, but Revan with the CZ-75 finds the angle and takes down Kanto Raketti. Penta Sports 4-4 against G2, and you know it's pretty interesting to see the spike in use of CZ-75 after the SMG-12 nerf.
It certainly is. Definitely the more balanced, well, the more tame SMG pistol these days. Now, overall, if there's anything we could take away from this match before it's even concluded, it's that Penta are giving G2 a run for the money. They are really putting up a fight. Even if they don't win this, it's impressive. Well-conducted attack there for Penta. They managed to cripple all of the different things that G2 were setting up in order to hold that site. The yellow stairs hold, not as effective as it should have been. The mirror windowing connector easily dispatched by the Twitch drones from Enemy. The smokes being tapered one at a time, not all at once, and because of that, the C4 was wasted by Pengu. Jonas downstairs, who was supposed to be the contingency plan, was eliminated thanks to a flank hold and a roam clear. So, good teamwork from Penta overall, and G2 are certainly fighting back, but this is far from over as we head to the second and final round.
It's interesting as well to compare the scoreboard between both teams, where it seems like there is the player at the top and the second one right below, so Pengu, Kanto, and then Revan and Enemy, and then the rest are kind of just there in support of the rest of the squad. It's a fair equilibrium. This is not something that many teams would expect when playing against G2, as again,
10 seconds to go.
They are what they are, I guess.
They're the the thing to be measured against.
Yes, very true. But here we'll get to see how Penta play with the Monty of Hungary.
G2 is the banana. G2 for scale.
I think Fabian is very easily described as a banana as well.
Whoa. Whoa, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, he's yellow.
Oh. Oh. All right. So, Penta attacking now onto Archives. And Flashbangs and drones going into CEO. They're going to try and find out where their opponents are on that top floor. We've seen Penta be really good at information gathering so far in this match. Really excelling at that one point in particular.
Yeah, of course, the Monty's going to make it even easier, just literally having information gathering as he walks up in front of his opponents. See why a clash has been a big favorite of certain teams on the defense. And yeah, good luck shooting through that shield. And as you'll see, the UMP fall back, so Jonas won't be able to do much against this. Though this is a position where you'd love to have a Legion, and indeed, G2 do have Kanto filling that role. So they have to scout things out here and make sure the Monty is not slowed down too much by the goo mines, or things will get a bit too complicated. Enemy just moving in. Notices that everything around the site is kind of clear, the top floor in admin. So he has a good hold of that, and Hungary is just going to move forward. Literally the tank here for Penta.
The frontal of this Montaigne, of course, will be hard to confront. Panics takes down Kanto Raketti. A little bit of reversal of the roles. Usually Kanto's the one fragging out, but this time it's Panics playing Ash, and he will be the one to get that initial kill. Legion being taken down for G2, that is a huge advantage for Penta. Less traps will now be in play because of it. There's only a minute left in the round. I feel like the time is very deceptive for this round in particular. Seems like it's just been a breeze and we're barely a minute in, but in fact it's not quite there. We're 2 minutes in, and Penta needs to make this push really start to happen if they want to see more success. Despite getting that one kill, they don't have a great position to actually attack the site. They're going to start opening up a lot of angles, and a second kill for Panics. Excellent use of the Ash charge there, single-handedly taking down Goga.
Still see Fabian on the Maestro downstairs, and are they going to get the spot? No, the shots are going to hit the railing more than the Mira here, as Fabian sitting still in the Archives. Jonas will get one onto Serboss, as he now plays the flank. Revan with one more, still the advantage here for Penta Sports, as Revan will get one more. Fabian will go down, unfortunately, cannot connect, and now the UMP, pitiful DPS here, as enemy will be able to take down Jonas. And Penta are sitting pretty right now at 5-4, and a maximum tie for G2. Penta might actually take this match.
So, it all comes down to this. Round 10, the decider. G2 find themselves in a position where they could very easily lose their very first match of this season or get their third draw total. There is no potential for a win any longer for G2. Now, in terms of points, does not matter. The one thing that G2 is fighting for right now is preserving their record. With no losses, they are the only team in Europe and America and the Americas to have that record currently. And if they lose here, it's gone.
Yeah, and it would be quite fitting that the only team that could defeat G2 is Penta.
It would be, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yeah, because I mean, that's in a sense, I guess, on an organization level, that's a little bit of I don't know, but it's interesting.
It's a storyline.
I'll say it's a storyline. It's a good way to put it. Not gonna get too much into it.
More generic caster words, please.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're not trying to get anyway. G2, final defense, final attempt here. They will go back to the basement. Last time they were here, they saw success, and that was the second round of the second half. So obviously G2 wants to repeat that if at all possible. Now, Penta has brought a decent lineup for this attack. There is no Thermite though, so of course that is going to be a hindrance.
But there's neither a bandit nor a mute.
So there's that as well, which means the Habana is going to be able to easily open up any part of the garage that he sees fit. The thing is, and we've already talked about this, if Habana opens a part of a garage, it's still a bottleneck. It's usually easy for the defenders to deny a push in through a Habana hole, especially when you compare it to a Thermite hole.
Very true, and that's why a lot of times you won't see all 3 X-Kairos being used on top of one another. You'll see an extra one to give an extra angle for the attackers to play through, and maybe here the mirror window might play against the defenders if it is popped in time.
Yeah, we'll see how it actually plays out, though. Penta, aware of the site being downstairs, seem to be setting themselves up to take from Visa instead. Ooh, they've detected the pre-play C4 from Giannis, and because of that, they are very unlikely to get that kill. And by they, I mean Giannis specifically. You're going to see the Zofia actually use one of her charges to clear out the C4, it seems, and will be successful. Giannis now aware that he has been given away. Will probably look for the drone and try to delay the push as much as possible, just using his ump.
Pengu, in the meantime, still sitting in the bathroom, similar position. That's where we saw him before, so he can drop down very easily to the bottom floor. Though in the meantime, it's Penta to just try to move in from the archives. As the Monty of Hungary will just move in and clear things out. There's one in the cubby in the electric room, and that is, of course, the Ash of Panics from Penta Sports. Just goes in and grabs the position ASAP, making sure that he still spearheads the attack. Trying to play from behind the Monty.
Oh.
No, he tags Hungry. Oh, a bit too much damage there. His enemy will go down. Jonas able to take him out. C4 or not, that will connect. Revan, though, with one more. Jonas with yet another onto Revan. So 4v3 in the advantage of G2. Panics might have done a bit too much to Hungary.
Now that damage onto the Montaigne is going to be absolutely incredibly important as we get to the dying seconds of this round. Montaigne, of course, you want to have as much as you can on that tank so he can absorb the damage. Jonas still in play. Surprisingly, he was the first line of defense for G2, and he's also still roaming, the only one for his team to get any kills thus far. And he's managed to work his way over to the Visa stairs. Panics might not be aware of this. He's going for the pre-aim. The Montaigne's not checking it, though. So this could be an easy kill for the Pulse. And yes, indeed, it will be a down, but not a kill, as Panics is able to land the shot in time. A huge salvage from the Ash. And because Montaigne has been reset, he's back to 50 HP, even more formidable than he was previously.
We'll see Hungary just trying to move into the site as 2 smokes will get chucked in. The grenades as well from Sir Boss. He sets up the tack crossbow on the opposite end, trying to go into A, but it's Pengu connecting with one. Panics with a refract. Panics with 2 as he now finds one behind the smoke. It's Goga for 1. Can he clutch it? No, he will not. As Panics will take him out. And what a twist of fate here. Penta will take the win 6-4, being the only team to defeat G2. And what an ironic turnaround here. The only team,
they've done it.
The only team that could defeat G2 is Penta.
Well done to Penta, managing to get the win against G2. Of all teams, an unexpected turn of events. And that is, I mean, it's not only does it tarnish G2's perfect record in this season, but it also gives Penta a really great position now. They put themselves up at 18 points.
I can already see the Reddit posts. Penta beat G2. Will G2 even make it out of quarters at Rio?
Oh my god. What?
Hey, that's logic, right?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. All right, well, G2 played decent. They didn't play as well as they usually do. They played an average game, I'd say, for them. Penta played out of their minds. They played a lot better than I think people were expecting coming out of this, or coming into this match. Don't forget to vote the MVP, of course, down here. You can do that at this Twitter handle. We'll have that poll up shortly. But overall, a lot of clutches by enemy, a lot of just individually fantastic plays on the Penta lineup, and they managed to make it work. Also, they calculated a lot of their pushes really well. I mean, predicting and avoiding that pre-play C4 from Giannis. I mean, I can see predicting it, but they didn't just predict it. They predicted it, they countered it, and they continued with their push. And it cost them, but they still recovered the round in the end.
Yeah.
It was impressively done from Penta, I have to say.
Again, at this high level of play, if Jonas had taken down the Monty, we might have seen a completely different round.
Might have, yeah, and because of that, a different result. Maybe another draw, but not so.
Yeah, not the case. Of course, this is what things hinge on at the top level of play in Rainbow Six. Every single bullet, in that case, literally one bullet, could have changed the entire outcome of the round and maybe turned it into a tie. But again, it's no problem here for G2, as we'll remind you, they are already qualified to the finals in Rio and 6th Invitational. They at least give Penta those 3 points, which means now Penta has 18 on the board. Now, they cannot qualify.
Yeah, and it's not going to change their position. I think they're still in 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But it means they are so much safer from sinking further down in the standings.
Yeah, pretty darn good. But we have an interview ready for you, so let's have a quick chat and roll down to Conversation Street. Yes, I love that transition. There you go. Panix, bonsoir, my Swiss friend. How are you?
Bonsoir. I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm color me surprised at the end, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
We were talking about it even before the show had started. We're like, how ironic would it be if the only team that defeated G2 so far in the season be Penta Sports? And you know what? You guys did it. And I have to say, we'll start off with one of the big mistakes that happened. Then we'll roll on to some of the big parts that you guys were able to win things out with. Now, in the second round, I mean, you guys were playing downstairs in Garage. It was a 4v2. We already saw Sir Boss getting the 2K, then followed up by an extra one to make it 3. What happened afterwards? Because Pengu and Fabian just kind of rolled over your team, even though you had such a huge advantage of manpower.
Yeah, I think it's down to maybe like thinking, okay, we 4v2, we don't have to move, we have to be perfect and stuff. And like enemy wanted to help the guys for the rush of G2, so he dropped down. But if he would have stayed with me, he could have hold yellow and he could have hold from top. But since he dropped, I had to watch yellow. They had a drone apparently who got me. And the thing is, once enemy is downstairs, in my head, I shouldn't have stayed on top. I should have moved and go with other guys, so at least they can refrag on me. So it was as well my bad. I think we're just trying to do too much perfect, and that got us on this one, I guess.
All right. Well, round 3. So the one right after, you were playing, I believe, the castle, either the castle or the pulse in that situation. Someone with a UMP, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You were fighting against Jonas on yellow stairs. He was in connector room as the Capitao. You got flashed and then pushed into bathroom. What happened? Like, did you try to look for him, find him, or just wanted to stay in bathroom at that point and not really alert your opponents?
I think it's enemy, so I don't think it's me actually. In bathroom,
that was
next to piano.
According to my notes, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's not
me. No, it's the top bathroom.
Top bathroom. Okay, yeah. Because I was playing another. When I was on basement roaming. Oh yeah, and I killed the guy on Jackal on reception. Was that? I'm a bit confused. I don't follow.
No, it was round 3 and it was on yellow stairs. Anyways, that aside,
yeah.
We'll skip through that, I guess. That was the round where Revan was able to get the clutch at the end with the Legion. Communication down to the team. Able to relay all that information, I guess. Though on round 4, enemy as well on the Maestro was able to get a back rage from the back service stairs on the Maestro and get the 2 kills that won out the round. What was the mindset behind rotating him around the entire map to go for this sort of play?
He started to say to Revan, okay, like we are down in numbers, so we should try to do something crazy to win the round. He told him, okay, let's flank just Visa. And Revan just said, no, I'm going to stay on top, you can go. And he was hesitating. I saw a drone like going into top Visa stairs from the Visa cam. So I told him, okay, they don't have flank drones, go ahead. And he caught the people, and then he just like put the right headshots into the connector guy and the meeting guy pushing them.
Enemy with yet another play in the 5th round, the one right after it. So I guess he's been doing quite a bit of work on the team today. You guys were rushed by G2, who went for an immediate plant on the lobby.
Yeah.
Did you anticipate that? Because they instantly, like, click the fingers, they went in for the diffuser plant, and then everybody from the team just kind of ran out and got frags off if an enemy was playing, even on the outside with Nakok.
Yeah. No, we didn't really anticipate that, but we see at the beginning of the map already they were starting to being very, very aggressive, trying rush. They already rushed once on basements, so the team was kind of prepared for that. And as soon as I saw the sledge opening the door, I said, they're rushing, and the the people in the team just like in those kind of situation, it's like no communication. Everyone is trying to do the best to deny the plants, and apparently the best was very very good, very effective. Enemy dropped down Think Visa, and he got like a lot of kills from outside, and it worked out for the guys who denied who killed the guy on site as well.
Nice.
And me, I was not very lucky with the wall bang through the smoke. He was just next to me, but happens.
It was pretty darn impressive bit of play there with the reactions. So you don't always get to talk about these sort of non-communicative type of plays, but they were certainly shining in this. Anything you'd like to say to your fans at the end of your victory against G2?
Yeah, well, thanks every one of you fans for welcoming us into Penta, and as well for following us still to there. I'm gonna thanks of course the French community that is probably going wild with Cock and Furious. So hello guys, and I'm gonna thank you for the cast, Miloš, on the interview. I mean, and have a very good night.
Thank you very much. Okay, bonne nuit, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.